this is the energy situation in Taiwan now. We have roughly 97% of the energy is imported, mostly fossil fuel. So, and in terms of power generation, we only have 8% from renewable energy, and all the other power generations are actually by burning fossil fuel. So, which is not very good, right? So, but the government announced 2 years ago, in 2021, the government announced that the net zero emissions in 2050 will be Taiwan's target. So since then, many departments and agencies in the government were mobilized to come up with a plan. How can we move from today to a net zero in 2050? So the National Development Council announced our very detailed plan or roadmap a couple months ago. So this slide is kind of a summary of the entire plan. In 2019, roughly half of the carbon emission is from power generation, and the other half from industrial manufacturing and transportation, etc. So, but in 2050, this part of power generation has to be decarbonized 100%. And noted that the overall electricity is growing. The overall electricity consumption is growing because of things like electrical vehicle, seems like the growth in industry, etc. So, although the entire electricity section is growing, you have to be decarbonized 100%. And that, of course, has to be, you must have a portfolio of different electricity supply. 60 to 70% must be from renewables, mostly from wind and solar. I will talk about that later. And we also need hydrogen. That will account for 9 to 12% of our electricity generation in 2050. And we still need gas power plant. We can't get rid of them. We still need them. But we are going to implement CCUS in gas power plant. And that will account for 20 to 27% of electricity generation in 2050. And we also need hydrogen in some of the industrial manufacturing process, especially in steel manufacturing, and also in some petrochemical companies. There are some part of the emissions from industry that cannot be eliminated entirely. And for that part, you have to offset using negative carbon or carbon sinks. So we are going to have CCUS plus biomass, things like that. So that is kind of a very brief summary of our roadmap toward 2050. But to implement that roadmap, the government announced 12 key strategies, I think earlier this year. So that these 12 key strategies including renewables such as wind and solar, and strategy of hydrogen, innovative energy, power system and storage, energy saving, efficiency, CCUS, these electrical vehicles, and so on and so on. So there are also some things like green finance, green lifestyle, and also carbon sinks. So roughly half of these 12 strategies are somehow directly related to energy. And therefore, energy transition is actually a central part of our net zero transition. And so in the following slides, I'm going to explain in some of the details of these energy strategy. And every single strategy is now becoming a major program or major project in the central government. Okay, let me start from offshore wind. Right now, we have accomplished 3 offshore wind in Taiwan. They are all in Taiwan Strait. The total capacity of these 3 wind farms is 613 megawatt. But but noted that these two of them were actually finished during pandemic. So you can imagine the difficulty during pandemic. You cannot have foreign vessels coming to Taiwan. You cannot have foreign workers, foreign technicians. It's very, very difficult. But still, we managed to finish 2 offshore wind during pandemic. But since now pandemic is over, we expect a very rapid growth of offshore wind in Taiwan. And in 2025, we're going to have 5.6 gigawatt. By 2050, the target is 40 to 50 gigawatt. And if you consider the capacity factor, something like 45 to 50% of offshore wind in Taiwan. So this translates to roughly 20-something gigawatt of power generation, net power generation. And that compares to what we have today in Taiwan. The total power capacity in Taiwan is 40 gigawatt, roughly. The peak power, peak demand is 40 gigawatt. So this is going to be a very significant part of our power generation in 2050. And the next one is solar. Again, we see very rapid growth. If you compare the installation capacity in last year, the accumulated capacity in last year, comparing to what we had in 2015, we saw a growth of 10 times in terms of capacity. So that's a very rapid growth. And we see not only rooftop type of solar photovoltaic, there are also many ground type photovoltaic. And recently we are going to plan a demonstration of floating type, even offshore floating type solar photovoltaic. So the target in 2050 is 40 to 80 gigawatt of solar photovoltaic. But of course, the capacity factor of solar is not that good, normally 15 to 20%. So this translates to roughly 10 to 15 gigawatt of net power generation. But still a very significant part in power sector. And for hydrogen, so as I mentioned, hydrogen will take about 8, 9, 10% of our power generation. So it's still very significant. And for the supply, we plan to import green hydrogen in the beginning and gradually move toward domestically produced hydrogen because we expect some surplus in offshore wind generation after 2040 or 2050. So we should be able to generate some of the green hydrogen domestically. We are now assessing the infrastructure. One possibility to use the existing natural gas infrastructure to use them for hydrogen purpose. So we are doing the assessment, and hopefully that could be done. And for applications, we are looking into fuel cell applications, and also in some of the industrial process, replace burning fossil fuel with burning hydrogen. So in some of the slides, I will just give you some example of ITRI's research, ITRI's innovation in technology. So this is the one example regarding hydrogen. We are developing a very good membrane that can purify hydrogen. So it's a sandwich a new type of sandwich layered membrane structures with palladium in the middle. So the innovation here is this layered structure, so that allows a very high permeability of hydrogen and reduce the cost a lot because we use only very little amount of palladium. So this membrane can generate very high purification hydrogen up to 9N. So we are now trying this. We set up a demonstration purifier in a semiconductor fab, trying to recycle the hydrogen in the fab so that somehow reduce carbon emission. We are also using this to separate tail gas. Okay, so one strategy is called innovate energy. In that strategy, we look into things like geothermal, marine energy, and biomass. So for geothermal, we are now optimize the legal environment, because right now applying for geothermal power plant is somehow complicated in our legal system. So we are trying to optimize them, and to increase drilling capacity in Taiwan, because we do have some geothermal power potential in Taiwan, because we are on the Pacific Rim region. So, but the problem is we don't have too many drilling companies here. So we are promoting people to import those drilling machines to accelerate the geothermal power plant development. And also for marine energy, the government has a feed-in tariff for marine energy right now, starting last year. So to encourage people to invest in marine energy, and also for biomass. We don't have much land to grow biomass in Taiwan. So the one possibility is to import from Southeast Asia. That's possible. But also we need some innovations here. For example, algae, growing algae in Taiwan. That's possible. So all different type of possibilities here.